I'm here. It is Goose. This is On With the Show. Thank you so much for joining in today for another exciting episode. Today we are going to talk about, I've been seeing a lot of different stuff about the Disney DAS. Yes, the Disability Access Services, which we are finding out is more and more, not as many more accessible as we think it is. And so we're going to go into that little journey today with On With the Show. But before we do, today's coffee mug is brought to you by the Disney Vacation Club. Yes, we are members of the Disney Vacation Club. Got this big bad boy at Grand California here in California at the Disneyland Resort, and it's one of my favorite mugs. And I feel like I could talk a little bit about it because being a member of the Disney Vacation Club, we can go into the DAS because we've used the DAS. But before we get into that, like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share this out to your friends, and leave me a comment when all is said and done. So let me just get into this really, really quick. Let me just show you. This is from Disney's official website. DAS is intended to accommodate only those guests who, due to a developmental disability like autism or similar disorder, are unable to wait in conventional queue for an extended period of time. DAS doesn't provide immediate access to experiences, but rather allows guests to request a return time for a specific experience that is comparable to the current standby wait. That's important. We're going to get into that. Guests for which DAS is being requested must be present during registration and must experience the attraction when redeeming a DAS return time at the Walt Disney World. That's only fitting. So let me get into this because we used DAS. I didn't even know there was a such thing as DAS until we went on our last trip to Walt Disney World. We went to the Magic Kingdom, and Madison, who does suffer from autism and anxiety and a couple of other things I'm not going to get into, basically she went to guest services and requested a DAS, what we call a DAS pass, and she was fully prepared to lay out um, all of her medical history. You know, we have the app to be able where you can just click right in and get the show. So, and their attitude was, "Oh, we're not doctors. Don't worry about it here. This is how we're." And basically, all it was we would go and we would request a time and went on a particular ride, and they would say, "Here's the time when you can do this," and we were like, "Yeah, that sounds great." And it was always in line with the standby wait time. In other words, we would click on a ride. It would say, "Here's when you can come," and that's when we would do it. Now, because a lot of people are saying, "Good, we're glad that people," because the reason they started clamping down was they were believing that people were abusing the DAS and using it a lot like Genie Plus at the time, um, which I can't necessarily say they were or they weren't. I'm not going to go into that. And I know Madison wanted us to do a video on the DAS system for travel by nature, but I was like, if I show this, I'm afraid that people just might abuse it. And that's basically why they clamped down on it, or so they say. That's why they clamped down on it. Because they were afraid people were abusing it. But again, it was just a system in which we requested a return time based on the wait time of that particular ride or event. Um, and it really worked out well because I have a bad knee, and my wife, she has neuropathy in her feet, and so we were able to sit down and wait and relax until we were able to go on to the next event. And basically we were able to enjoy the parks in a very relaxed manner without having to feel like we were running around and trying to catch our next lightning lane or whatever it is. But I just recently saw this video, and I'm going to show you the video really quick because it's been going around the internet. Let me just click on this right now.
My not so great Disneyland day as someone with narcolepsy. Rules recently changed, and unlike my last trip, Disney no longer recognizes disabilities outside of autism for the DAS pass. When I had the pass, I was able to rest on a bench or take naps, something my body literally requires to function, while I waited in a virtual queue. Instead, to experience the rides, I stood for hours and often went extended periods without anything to sit on or lean against. I had to rely on the people around me to lean on, and I was so excited whenever I saw a bench in the line. The consequence of this, my energy drained much quicker, so I was very grateful for first aid, which had a room of beds where I was able to nap. I definitely missed the privacy curtain I had at California Adventure, but this wasn't too bad. I ended up crashing for way longer than I expected, which obviously cut a lot into my park time. I tried to make up for lost time by eating in the lines, but that proved to be really difficult. At one point, our ride stopped during Haunted Mansion, which was a little creepy. We were able to fit in all the Star Wars rides, and of course Logan's favorite, It's a Small World, which was a little too dim for me and made me kind of sleepy. Overall, though, I feel like I just missed out on so much of the park, and we ended up having to call it quits while it was still pretty early. What you don't often see from narcolepsy is the aftermath of a long day like that, so I probably won't be back anytime soon.
All right, so there's this is Riley Shaw. She posted this online about she has narcolepsy, which for some reason I guess is now, I mean, it is a sleep disorder, but it doesn't fall in line with, I guess, autism or similar things. Let me show you, because she posted this video a year ago with her challenges for the same thing. So let me just put.
Here's what my day at Disneyland looked like as someone with narcolepsy. First, I went to guest relations to ask them about Disability Access Services, or a DAS pass, which is basically a virtual queue because physical lines can be difficult if I have a sleep attack and there's nowhere to sit or lay down. So after waiting the virtual queue, we went to our first ride, Radiator Springs Racers, and I had never been on it before and it was really fun. A few rides later, I started to feel really tired, so we went to first aid, and they were so accommodating and really nice. They led us to this room with a bunch of beds and gave me a corner to sleep in so I could take a short nap. By the time I woke up, our virtual queue was up, so we were able to ride our next ride, Toy Story Mania. We also went on the Incredicoaster, and I realized later that I had left my ears in the little pocket. The cast members were so sweet helping me look for it, and we found it on the very last cart we checked. All that stress about losing my ears clearly wiped me out because then I had to take a nap on a bench. Then we got some ice cream and rode a few more rides and called it a day.
All right, so you see that so apparently a year before she was able to use DAS with her narcolepsy. Now she can't use DAS with her narcolepsy, and you see the difference in the change. Again, people kind of like want to confuse this with like, oh, it's a great thing that they're not allowing people to take advantage of this anymore. Yeah, they're just cut right in line. No, that wasn't the point. If you saw what she had to go through, basically, they would get a virtual queue, and then she would be able to rest and relax. And when she got up, she was able to go to the next ride or the next event. This is how it's supposed to work, right? Right? Isn't this how it's supposed to work? Because because we go, let's get into this. Let's get into this. This is from the LA Times. This is the article that is really, really going around right now. Disney no longer magical to guests, denied disability access service. 8-year-old Noah Roland lasted less than 2 hours inside Disney World's Magic Kingdom one June afternoon before suffering an autistic meltdown. Okay, hold on for a second. Didn't they just say on their website that this was for people with autism? And yet this little kid an 8-year-old got denied the DAS? And let's be honest here, because I'm really curious, because the way they worded it, autism or similar disorders, which leaves it pretty broad, right? Because we all know autism is a spectrum. You can have autism and be very highly functioning. In fact, both of my kids, and I even think myself, are very high functioning autistics. We can function very well in society. But I know some people who have kids who are autistic. They're not as highly functioning as mine are. And I want to know, what are these similar disorders they're talking about? Because this is going to we're really getting into this here. The fact that they worded it like this, and it's only developmental disorders. All right? That's what they're claiming on their website. Let's get further into this. Um, Days earlier, he was denied Disney's Disability Access Service Pass, like I said, intended to help disabled individuals wait for rides outside long lines. Northridge resident Rosie Kaiser, who lives with multiple sclerosis, teared up outside the entrance lines of the Disneyland Resort in July. She had been approved for the pass, but only after answering several intrusive health questions. Yeah, we're going to get into that in just a little bit. Lifelong Disney fan Farah Goose, battling stage 4 small bowel carcinoma, which she has bowel cancer, spent 14 hours over 2 days in two separate online interviews hoping Disney would approve her pass. She was denied twice. So someone who has cancer was denied. Stage 4 cancer was denied. I don't know how disabled you have to be to get approved for this if you've got stage 4 cancer. Let's keep going. And she was in 14 hours and she was denied twice. Let's keep going. The trio joined a variety of individuals who spoke to the Times, those rejected and accepted for Disability Access Service or DAS Pass. Some feel betrayed by the company known for its inclusivity and are reconsidering patronizing its parks. The DAS Pass, created in 2013, allows Disneyland and Disney World users to avoid standby line. A pass holder registers on the park app or with a guest relations member for a specific ride and is given a return time. Other park goers pay extra, up to $35, to join the Lightning Lane with normal wait times of 5 to 25 minutes. I don't know how that's accurate, but okay, let's go with it. According to various bloggers who track times, DAS pass holders can use the Lightning Lanes for free. That can mean a drastic difference in wait times for some rides. Disneyland guests wanting a DAS pass can speak online with a park representative 2 to 30 days before arrival, or they can meet with the guest relations employees at the park. A Disneyland spokesperson said changes to DAS were necessary because of overuse. The company said pass usage had tripled since 2019. Okay, let's just stop right here. Since 2019. Gee, what was it that we went through in 2020 that went on for maybe a year or two? Oh, that's right. It was a pandemic where people where people developed anxiety and depression and all that other crazy stuff. I wonder how it jumped so much. Let's keep going. This is stupid. The spokesperson, who asked not to be named, of course, said the DAS Pass was just one of several accommodations Disney offers, but would not comment on whether the company felt the system was being abused. The changes, which went into effect May 20th at Disney World and June 18th at Disneyland, reduced eligibility. The accommodation is for a small percentage of guests who, due to a developmental disability like autism or similar, there's that phrase again, are unable to wait in a conventional queue for an extended period of time, according to Disney's new guidelines. Previous standards were much broader. Guests who have difficulty tolerating extended waits in a conventional queue environment due to a disability. But excluding many disabled individuals from these cherished experiences, Disney sends a clear message that the rights and needs of the disabled community can be overlooked. A group wrote in its petition, which has 31,000 signatures. Hopefully we'll get more. DAS defenders claim Disney is now excluding cancer patients, veterans with PTSD, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, those with rare diseases, and more. Yes, I have seen video after video after video on YouTube, on TikTok, of people just breaking down and crying because they were denied a DAS pass. I saw one where a little boy had a feeding tube, was prone to vomiting, was a 8-year little boy. I think he was 8, according to the article. Denied a DAS pass. And while he was in line for the carousel, threw up. The mom was saying that if they had the DAS, they would give him time to be able to have these little episodes, and then they'd get in line and ride the rides. I I'm sorry. Let's just keep going. Debbie Perez's resting heart rate reached 118 beats per minute at California Adventure on July 5th. Oh, yeah, let me get into this. This is crazy. A normal person's heart rate is between 60 and 100, with higher tallies potentially leading to chest pain and fainting among medical issues. Earlier that day, Perez was told during her DAS interview in denial that the pass was for individuals with developmental disabilities. Perez has sideroblastic anemia, a blood disorder that she says requires monthly transfusions. She's prone to heart palpitations and shortness of breath when she overheats, while a heart murmur puts her at risk for cardiac arrest. Perez fell in love with Disney ever since first visiting from the Philippines as a 4-year-old from 1978. She and her husband make bi-monthly pilgrimage from Livermore to Anaheim, which is about a 5-hour drive, depending on how you get there. To me, Disneyland always stood for family, Perez says, who turns 50 next month. I love Disney, but I'm not willing to risk my life for Disney. Are you getting it here? I'm gonna just say this over and over and over and over again. What makes one disability bigger than another? In other words, what makes this disability where you get qualified for DAS, and this disability over here where you don't get qualified for DAS? I would love to know. See, here's the thing. This is where it's coming down to. You all might as well just put it out on the table. If you're going to deny people who have actual disabilities, you might as well just put it out there and just say, here are the disabilities in which we will approve you for DAS. Just make it that none of this autism with similar disabilities, none of that crap. Just do away with it. All right? Because I don't understand the discrimination going on here. I really don't. Let's get into this. Let's get into this next. Oh yeah, this is a post from blog Mickey News, a Disney related website. Heartbreaking. Terminally ill guest denied disability access pass at Disneyland. Excuse me. A heart-wrenching incident at Disneyland has surfaced where a guest with terminal cancer was denied the Disney Disability Access Pass. The story is shared on TikTok by Jazzy, user LovelyJ17. I have the video. I'll put it up just a minute. Chronicles the difficult experience her family faced at the Disneyland Resort. In a video, Jazzy explained the challenges her father endures due to his terminal cancer, which prevents him from sitting or standing for long periods without pain. Despite their need for special accommodations, the family's request for DAS was denied. According to Jazzy, a cast member informed them that the DAS was only available to guests with autism or similar developmental. There it is again. Jazzy described their interaction with the cast member as rude, noting that the worker walked away quickly after refusing to assist because they were recording. Well, everybody's recording these days. The only alternative offered was the return to queue option, where the disabled guest walks outside the ride while the rest of the party stands in line. Yes, let me just get into that for just a moment. That has been the new thing. They basically tell you, the disabled person, that you can wait outside and that your party can go through the line while you wait. This one mother, I think it was said that she had multiple sclerosis. Asked for the DAS pass, was denied. Was there with her 8-year-old daughter, and they actually told her. Well, your daughter can go through the line, and you can wait for her until she gets to the front line. Are you high? Are you high? You expect a mother to allow their 8-year-old daughter to walk alone in the line for whatever period of time it is until they get to the front so that they can meet each other. And I think this is a nice design that they've done because they know disabled people don't come alone. There's usually one person with them, if not, a small party. And yet they're telling them, yeah, you just let your party go through. Other thing, you know what? Some of the other stuff they're telling them, just practice standing in line. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Let's go to this video from what I was just talking about. Now, there's a voiceover on this, which I can't understand why, but you'll get, if you just listen, you can hear them talking underneath the voiceover.
What if this life is the one that we begged for?
Here at Disneyland 2024.
What if my higher power let me come back
the disability pass because
so that I could see the mountains again?
They said if you don't have autism, you can't
Be
get a
on the
disability
lake
pass.
while the sun kissed me.
No, we can't tell us to leave. We can record. Then I started recording.
Laugh with my
and she told me
friends
to
until
put
my
on
stomach
record.
hurts.
Disneyland 2024 for everyone.
Get my
We
heart
have
broken
terminal
over
cancer,
and over.
we have seasonal passes and
Cry
they still
uncontrollably
treat you like
in the
shit.
shower.
So, don't be coming here, guys.
Buy myself flowers 1,000 more times.
They don't care if you have cancer, they don't care if you have an illness. They'll only
Hear a
come
beautiful
if you have
song for the
autism.
first time.
Yeah, if you could hear her, she's like talking like, they're saying if you don't have autism, you don't get DAS. Like they have treated autism as like the gold standard. And I understand, autism is a pretty serious thing. Trust me, I live with it. I live with people who have it, among other conditions. I've seen the spectrum. It's kind of crazy. But to single out autism or similar disabilities, I think you are just pigeonholing yourself into a lawsuit. And I'll explain that in a minute. I'm going to go through the next thing because here's the thing. The best way I can describe this is that the best way I think we could do this is I have a kind of a video package. I have a set of videos I put together of people who were denied the DAS, some who were accepted for DAS, and there's one video in there of a mother who took the interview for DAS, and I'm going to play them in their entirety so that you get an idea of other people's experiences, because just me sitting here spouting about it, is not necessarily, I want you guys to get an understanding of what's going on here. So I'm just going to play these videos.
Hi, my name is Trisma Magajas. I was recently denied the disability access services here at Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. I was in substitution, provided the return to line, where if I had a party with me, my party would wait in line and I would meet up with them through re-entry. And I wanted to make this video to show that no matter the severity of the disability, Disney has their own standards that they've created that determines whether or not you apply for their specific accessibility service, which mainly, and she described it as severely disabled or cognitively disabled. I do understand. I however wanted to raise attention to an idea that I had instead. So I wanted to be able to purchase Genie Plus, but since I am a Magic Key holder, rather than coming back and repurchasing it $25, per person for my group if I visit every week. I'm at $400 a month, on top of the $380 ventilator bill and my medical supply bill. Instead, I say that Disney puts a lightning link service for those who are disabled, and it's a one-time purchase for a year, let's say, usually if they have a Magic Key Pass. And with the one-time purchase of the lightning link, I can reuse the lightning link service, but still pay a fee for the lightning link service. It also helps my disability. Thank you again for listening. I really hope Disney looks at their policies, and for those of you in the same position as me, I'm very sorry. I wish I could understand even more so your story and your frustration, but I am making do with what I have. Pay attention to more content from the Disney parks and more on accessibility.
Disability is an inclusive word, and when people hear disability, they think about all the disabilities. Today, I was denied the Disability Access Service at Disneyland. I've been using the Disability Access Service here at Disneyland for probably like 6 or 7 years. I've also already qualified after the new requirements were put into place, and today I was denied for the first time ever because I don't have autism. I explained my disabilities, I explained my personal sensory issues, I explained my temperature irregulation issues. It didn't matter, they still denied me. They understand that it wasn't the employee's fault and that they are just following the directions that they were given from their higher-ups. I understand that it's really just Disney's fault. I truly did not think that I was going to be denied, but I was very anxious because I've seen a lot of my other friends and fellow disabled people be denied in the last few weeks because of these new requirements. So it's really disappointing. In my opinion, it's kind of like separate but equal. You're taking the people who have autism, who might be loud or otherwise societally disruptive, and taking them out of line and having them qualify for the Disability Access Service. But for others of us who don't have autism, who have different mobility aids and different disabilities, we now don't qualify at all. So something that I've benefited from for years now, I now don't even qualify for. If you're using the term disability, disability is an inclusive word, and when people hear disability, they think about all the disabilities. Maybe some wording needs to change. I don't know. I'm not the expert here. I just know that now my service that I have been benefiting from, that was very beneficial for me, and my disability has now been taken away.
So my DOS pass just recently expired. My DOS pass was a part of the old system. Now, I am autistic with ADHD and anxiety disorder, and I'm here at the park, so I'm going to try and actually apply for the new system now. I will be documenting everything. I will be sensitive to cast members as well too. Only the camera will be on me, but I'm going to take you through the process of how it looks to get one through the parks.
If you are applying for DOS in person at Disneyland or DCA, you are going to want to go to the ticket booth that is closest to the Toy Story and Friends loading and unloading area. Now, I also want to mention, I discovered this day that you do in fact need to have a park reservation for DCA or Disneyland that day to apply for DOS. So keep that in mind. So right here you can see I am at the ticket booth, but just a reminder, I am not filming the cast member nor the window for their privacy. All right, so here I am explaining why I need DOS. I'm explaining what I go through the parks and also what could happen in the parks. I already had a feeling they would decline this, but I did bring documentation just in case they wanted to see it. And of course, my suspicions were right. They didn't want to see it. So bringing your documentation is really not necessary. Now, of course, they asked me further questions about what happens in the park, how I deal with what I go through and all of that stuff. But they also asked me some non-park related questions about how I deal with what I go through in public situations. I won't be mentioning those questions here as it may be different for you virtually or in person. Now, cast member wise, I will say that this cast member was very calm, cool, and collective, which actually made this process a little bit more comfortable for me. So thank you to that cast member. Now, I've never tried to apply virtually, so I'm not sure how that experience is, but this is what my experience was like here at the ticket booth at the parks.
So I have an update for you guys regarding DOS. I just applied for the DOS under the new DOS program, and based on what I go through and my sensitivities and everything, I was approved for DOS. I don't have a problem saying I'm autistic with ADHD and anxiety disorder. I just won't tell you what I go through. So I explained my scenarios and why I believe I need DOS, because I have had it through the old system, and thankfully I was approved. Now, with that said, if there's a big piece of advice I have for you, it is to lay everything out on the table. Don't hold back, explain the disabilities, explain what happens, don't be shy about it, okay? Be real, that's another thing, be real with the cast members about what you go through. So again, I got approved for DOS, but my prayers go out to those who have not. Personally, I do hope the system changes as well, as there are people who need DOS and that haven't gotten it or have been able to get it. But I just wanted to keep you posted on my situation and on how the process went for me. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that follow button for more fun and or informative theme park and fandom content.
So I've been seeing so many TikToks going around that the new Disney DAS pass, with the new regulations, people are just not receiving it and being denied, especially if you don't have like autism or a cognitive disability. And then if you do have like anxiety, which was previously a condition that you would get the DAS pass for, that it no longer applies to these new rules, and you'll be rejected, you won't get it. Well, today I decided to give Disney a call just to plan ahead. We're going to Disney soon, and so I wanted to go ahead and plan ahead. Wasn't expecting to get a DAS pass, just kind of wanted tips and pointers on what to expect and what other accommodations there were for people with anxiety. And I spoke to one of the representatives, and she assured me that it's not that everyone with anxiety is getting rejected. It's not just people with autism or a cognitive disability that are getting these passes. The passes are based on individual basis. So regardless of whether you think you'll get approved or if you don't think you'll get approved, you should still give them a call and talk to them, because today I got approved for anxiety for the pass. So it really is on a case-by-case basis, and if you really need it, you should give them a call, tell them everything, whatever they ask, just answer their questions honestly, and you might still get it, because it is possible to get the new pass with anxiety as your diagnosis.
So yesterday we had a call with Disney DAS, the first time we've done it since they revised their policies. We've been using DAS for a very long time, both Disney World and Disneyland, and the experience was really different this time around. So for starters, we waited on the computer for 7 hours. It took 7 hours to get through the queue to even begin to talk to somebody. And once we got through, I'm honestly not surprised, because the interview was very in-depth, way more in-depth than ever before. Previously, they were very much like, don't tell me diagnosis, don't give me any information. This time they were probing. They wanted to know details. They wanted to know why you need it, what happens. Before it felt like they were eager to help. Now it felt like they were eager to deny, like looking for any reason to not allow somebody to have it. And this isn't to say that the cast member wasn't lovely and wonderful, because she was. It's just the vibe was very much looking for holes in your argument. Also, previously, I talked to them the whole time. Once it was done, they went so they could take a picture of my son. That was it. This time they actually wanted to talk to him as well. They wanted to see him. They wanted to talk to him before they would okay it. So if you are looking to get a DAS pass and you have had it previously, expect that it is a much more thorough experience, and that it will not be as easy. It won't be as simple. You will have to really go into details. They wanted to know exactly what happens and what accommodations we use. Does he have accommodations elsewhere in his life? I truly think that they should just go the route of Universal Studios and just have a third-party vet people, because it would be a lot easier on everybody. If you've been through it, I would love to know your thoughts because I know most people have not had a super positive experience.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed too in watching other videos. They're saying that these interviews are very intrusive. That they start asking you, well, how do you deal with your condition when you go to the grocery store, and stuff like that. And it's like, well, what does that have to do with me going to Disney? Um, I, First of all, I asked, did you follow each of those 5 women on TikTok? Um, and basically, follow all of the videos I've shown from TikTok. I also wanted to thank a couple of other YouTubers, Capture the Magic and That Park Place, who basically was kind of the inspiration in the a little bit of the information I was looking for this, because I just couldn't believe this lady's right. They're trying to find a way not to give you a DAS pass. They don't want to give you a DAS pass, and this is going to be because. And let's be honest here. What is the reason? I'm going to be finishing in just a couple minutes. But let's be honest here. Why do they want to deny you? Why do they want to deny you? You saw a couple of those women were in wheelchairs, and they denied them. Are they not disabled enough? Are they not disabled enough? That one guy was like, I get this every time I come to. Now I'm denied. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't even be called the Disability Access Service. It should be called the Denied Access Service, because you get denied, denied, denied. I have cancer, denied. I have multiple sclerosis, denied. I'm in a wheelchair, denied. I have autism. Tell me more about it. Doesn't that seem like what's going on here? I have Parkinson's, denied. I have stage 4 cancer, denied, denied, denied. It's now called the Denied Access Pass. Let's be honest here. What is Disney really doing? This is just in my opinion, this is what they're doing. You know what? Let's find a way where we can where we don't have to give out this DAS pass so much, so that they can get the Lightning Lane multi-pass now for $35 a pop. Am I hitting you hard enough here, Disney? Am I hitting you hard enough here, Bob Iger, Josh Tomorrow? Am I hitting you? Do you really, really, really want to make a buck off the back of the disabled? And to sit there and say they're so inclusive. This is the second video I've done this week where they're not inclusive. You can tell I'm a bit touchy, a little angry about this. Because I think that I think making money off the back of the disabled is disgusting. Now again, they did say the videos I showed you. They said it was a case-by-case basis, and but again, they're hiding behind the autism and similar disabilities phrasing, and they want to sit there and they say, well, we're complying with the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. Are you really? I know some people have said, well, for those people who have a problem walking, you can get a mobility scooter, yeah, if they're still there, and then you want to charge me $75 a pop. See, here's the thing, and I'm going to end with this prediction, because Disney is going to end up losing money on this, because they will have pissed off enough people to where they're like, we're not going back to the parks. We're not spending our money in the parks anymore. If like that one woman said, in the article. I love Disney, but I don't want to die for it. And let me remind Disney here that you make money not just on the tickets, but on people buying food and merch and experiences. But here's the kicker, because you think you can get away with this. It's not going to take very long for some of these people to go to their congressman and their senator and tell them how you're discriminating against them because they don't have autism. They're disabled, but they don't have autism. And then Robert Iger and Josh tomorrow, you'll be hauled up in front of Congress and you'll be answering their questions. How is this person more disabled than this person? How is this person in a wheelchair doesn't qualify for your disability access service and this person over here does? Explain that to me. If you think you have problems now, wait till you sit in front of Congress and have to answer these questions. You better fix this now before somebody takes it up there. And you sit there stumbling around. We were complying with the ADA. I mean, look what we were doing. We told them that it was only about. Again, it's called the Denied Accessibility Service. From now on, let's just call it that. The Denied Accessibility Service. To sit on hold for 7 hours to have an interview where you get asked all kinds of intrusive questions, I think you just have absolutely just outstretched yourself here. I'm sorry. Again, I'm a little hot under the collar for this because, again, I think it's disgusting what they're doing. Picking and choosing who's disabled and who's not disabled. Anyway, now that I've taken a deep breath, let me have another sip of coffee. And I will end with this. Thank you very much for watching today. I appreciate you doing so. If you liked the video, give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so that you know when the next video is uploaded. Share this out to your friends and give me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Because, in my opinion, if they don't get this fixed now for the better, it's only going to get worse for them. Again, thank you very much for watching the show. My name is Goose. This is On With the Show. I will see you again on the other side.